Hello everyone, and welcome back to my crafting world. This is Anna. Guys, in the last video for this Halloween mini album, or this Halloween 8x8 photo album, I left off, I believe, on this page, and we just needed that last page on the back and then to decorate the front. So, and I did tell you that I was going to go ahead and put the pattern paper down, and I did. So I went ahead and decorated just because I didn't think you needed to see me glue anything down. So this was our last page. And on this page, all I did was put some trim on this side. You can still put photos on that side. So I'll go through the album with you after I explain a couple of things. So the reason that I went ahead and finished this page was because I had an idea on how I was going to incorporate lights into the mini album, but I hadn't actually tried it out. And once I started trying it out, you know, I finished it. But I'm going to show you how I did it. So these are the last two pages of the mini album, okay? So let me do a quick flip through starting from the front. So this is our first page that we worked on. Here are the pockets. These are mats. I put a couple of cut aparts in there and some picture mats. And the little mat to put a picture in is right here. So we can put a picture in there. And then I went ahead and made a mat for the back pocket, okay? So that's all that one has. And then on this one, same thing, you know, cut apart mats, you know, and the mat for the back. And here is the, you know, the little paper or the cardstock in there so they can put a picture in there and glue it down. And all I did here was I took the bigger die and I cut it out of a, you know, a piece of cardstock from the paper pad that was just a tiny bit smaller, and I just glued it to the top. Right here I just put some trim and I put these bling pieces on there. And then all the mats are just plain mats. I just punched a decorative corner on each mat, but they are all blank because once you start putting pictures in this, it's going to get pretty thick. So I didn't want to put any more paper on there. And this is our next page, the envelope page. And right here, all I did was put some mats on here, or some mats inside the pocket. And this is the top of each page. And it was one of the 12 by 12 sheets, but I just cut it in half. And I went ahead and filled this little space in with some paper and some bling. And then each of them have a couple of mats and a cut apart for their pocket in the back. And then on the inside, I went ahead, I just put a bow right here with another bling piece and covered I made my little mat and I covered the envelope inside and out. And then I went ahead and used some Velcro right here for the closure. So we open it up and I went ahead and matted all the pages except these on the back. So those are blank. Just put a picture of 4x4 in there, and of course plenty of space for pictures. And they are both the same. The pattern paper may change a little bit, but they're still all patterned paper in there. Okay, so there's that one. And then of course the mat. And then we flip the page, and on this one I have the I put paper on, I don't know why I'm holding it, I put paper on the waterfall, and just the first one is fully covered, and the rest of them just have from the border page. I just cut the borders out and went ahead and stuck them at the bottom, and of course you had seen that. And then on the sides I went ahead and filled in those sides again with some pattern paper and some gems you know, a row of bling on the side there. And this, guys, I just tuck it in under here just so it won't dangle to the bottom. And then this one is the same. And then flipping the page, we have this one is just a, you know, a pocket page on the front, and it's got two, these are 4x6 that you know, you can put full pictures on there. Maybe you may have to crop them just a little bit, but these are the ones that open up this way. And I didn't do anything to the inside. I did put just a little border strip on the inside of that page because I didn't want them to get too thick. So, and there's this one, and here is the border, the matching border page on that one. And then coming back to the last page that we wound up at. So I did go ahead and put a, you know, a little strip of paper on all four pages just to fill it up a little bit more because I felt like it needed a little something. So there is the last page that we worked on, and that again closes with the magnet. And then this is the last page that I was supposed to decorate with you guys, but I didn't, so I didn't do much to. So this is the back of the mini, or the album. I don't think this is a mini. For me, it's not a mini album because it's huge and it's really thick. And there is the spine, and I shared this trim. So the front of the mini album, I'm going to show you how I created it. So let me show you the front. Here is the front of my mini album, or of my album. I keep saying mini album. Here's the front of my album. I made these little shutters. They are super easy to make, and you know, I'll show you how I made them. It's gonna have to be in pictures, but I will show you how I made these. And this is just one of those hands from the Dollar Tree. These are the flowers that I had gotten in my design team package from Graphic 45. They are black. And these are little fillers that I also get from ASC Crafts. And this is some more trim on the top. There's a spider. And then these are my spooky faces. Okay, so supposedly this is supposed to be a window with the shutters on the side. And then the light turns on. Yeah, let me turn my light off so you can see that a little bit better. I just love the way that looks. And I've got a spider web here on the top. There's a pumpkin down here. The hand is reaching up to grab. And there's a little skeletons, and then of course the light in the background. And then the frame around the window is just glittered cardstock. Yeah, there you go, guys. I just thought that was so cute. So that is the front of the mini album. I meant to do this last year and it just didn't get done. So let me show you how I got that. Let me set this guy aside and let me show you how I came to be able to do that. So I have another package of lights. I got these from Amazon. These are the fairy lights. They don't have the big battery pack, although you can still make it with the battery, you know, with the bigger battery pack, and just, you know, it'll just be a little bit thicker. But this is the green lights, and the switch is right here. So when you turn it on, your lights are right there. So what I didn't show you was where I housed the light. Okay, so my light is under this, or the switch is under this cluster of flowers. So, you know, you can switch it on and off from here. And let me show you, I just made a little square for it right here. It's hard to see, but I made this little square right here out of cardstock, 110 pounds. And it just houses the lights, see? So, and then the flowers on the top, you know, kind of hide that, so you can't really see that. So yeah, I meant to do this last year and it just didn't happen. So let's go on to show you how you can make yours. So first of all, I have my background, which is a 5x5 piece of paper. And this is just a recreation, so it's not the actual, of course, the actual top to the, or the actual window on my album. So you pick out your pattern paper, okay? And then this has 20 lights. So we need to find space for 20 lights on this little 5x5. The next one I'm going to make for Christmas is not going to be this compact. So I'm still going to use the lights though. So if I flip it over, what I did was I measured 3/4 of an inch from the side on all 4 sides, or is it 1 inch? Yeah, 3/4 of an inch, and I just drew a square. Obviously, it doesn't have to be perfect because no one is going to see that, okay? And then you find your space for your 20 lights. If you want, let's say you're gonna have something, let's say you're gonna have a ghost on the other side, and you know, let's say that you've punched out the eyes and the mouth, and you want to have a light shine through that. So you would take your pencil and you would mark where you want a light. Let's say right here, okay? So let's say I wanted a light right there because my ghost is going to be right here, okay? So I will tell you though, you need to prop your items, your ghost, your whatever it is that you're putting on the front, you need to prop them up on foam so they are closer to the top. You can do a see-through window, you know, acetate if you want. I tried it, it looked okay, but I like the way the vellum looked better. So what I did was I went ahead and I took a couple of, you know, I just took a piece of foam, let's say, and I put foam underneath my skeletons so that they wouldn't be right on the right up against the paper, because you want that light to shine through, okay? So if you're gonna put several, you know, if you want light shining on several items, you know, just go and mark where you want your light and then put that up on foam, and then the light will shine through if this is empty, you know, if it's hollowed out. So I didn't do that because I wanted that eerie look for the skeleton. So I just put my lights on the outside. So, okay, going back to the back of this is what's under my frame there. So I marked 3/4 of an inch. Obviously it doesn't have to be perfect, but I marked 3/4 of an inch. This is not the size, okay? This is for the outer shell. So it is, this is 5x5. I went ahead and marked all the way around 3/4 inch. And then I marked where I wanted each of my lights. So each of my lights, I put my ruler down and I try to, you know, just center them a bit, because that's a lot of lights. 20 lights is a lot, guys. So I just took and I marked one in the center, and I did this for each square at 3/4 of an inch, and then, you know, just over 1/2 inch to either side. And I did that all the way around my square, okay? And then I took my crocodile and I cut 1/8 of the 1/8 inch circle or hole. I just cut on each of my markings. I just cut a hole on each one of my markings, and I did this all the way around. And I'm gonna make this one with you guys so you could, because I can always take it apart. I'm gonna make this one with you guys so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. I don't want you to be confused because I want you to make one. These are a lot of fun to have, to give, to display. These are a lot of fun. So yeah, I meant to make one last year, you know, I just didn't have the time. And for about a month now, I've been thinking, okay, I need to get that album started, and it just didn't happen. Okay, so here are all my 20 circles, my 20 holes, if you will. Let me put this under something so you can, something black. So you can see my holes are right there, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my lights, and I should have opened them up already and I didn't. Let me open these up or unravel them. Okay guys, so I have unraveled my lights. Now I have taken my 3/4 inch tape. I wouldn't recommend, I wouldn't recommend hot glue just because I don't know if it'll work or not, but this worked just fine for me. So what I did was, the first thing I did was I looped this from side to side. Obviously there are different ways you can do this. It's up to you how you do it. This I found a little bit easier for me to do it this way because I knew they were in a row. My holes were in a row. Okay, so what I did was I went ahead and put this first light over this circle. And I didn't want to, and I cut a few pieces of these because we're gonna keep using this. Let me cut a few pieces. Okay, so I had a few ready to go. So the very first thing I did was I took the end, the very first light, and I placed it over this hole, okay? And then I took my second light and placed it over the hole as well. And then I took some of my double-sided tape, holding down my wire, and I just taped that down, okay? So I know that those two are going to shine through, and let me show you. Those two are going to shine through. You know, you can make adjustments if you want. I don't think I adjusted, maybe one of mine. Anyway, so you continue to go around your square with your lights, placing the actual light over the your hole, and make sure that, like, that one held okay right there. So, and then I would put another piece of tape over that, okay? So now if you find that, well, let me keep going. Maybe let me keep going here just to show you how it's going to turn out. And like I said, it was easier for me to fold these up this way, but because I knew that it was in a square formation. So this is my next one. Okay, I'm holding that down, and then I am going to bring this and place it over the next my next hole. Okay, and see how it's not staying down. I'm going to go ahead and tape those down. Try not to get my hole there. I'm going to tape these down, okay, and press down, make sure they're on there nice and secure. So if you find that your lights are not staying in place, get a thinner tape, or even if you just just cut this one down to be thinner. I just took the 1/8 inch tape, and I went ahead and taped it down right near the right near the hole. Okay, so I'm going to tape this one down as well because it looks like it wants to keep coming up. I'm going to tape this one down as well. Okay guys, it doesn't matter how much tape you put on the back, it really doesn't, because it's not going to show. So let me do the next, and I'm going to continue to do this until all of my holes have a light. And I will probably fast forward this. That's kind of why I didn't want to do another page with you guys, because I knew this was going to take a while. Okay, so I have put down my wire, and I know it looks really funky from the back, but it doesn't matter because no one is going to see that. So I'm not going to remove the tape just yet. Let me show you what it looks like on the front. There you go. It looks like this one might need a little adjusting. So anyway, you get the picture on how to string your lights. Now, if you had lights like in the center, all you had to do was string your wire closer to the center. Excuse me. And then on the back, of course, you want how much wire you want coming out is up to you. But you have to remember that they do have to pull it out to replace the battery. So you want, you know, a little bit of wire there. So this is the back, and this is the front of the, you know, of your window. Okay. So now we need to put our window somewhere. So what I did was I made I'm going to set that aside. I made a square for our window, you know, the frame of the window, if you will. To make and we're finished with the crocodile. To make the window, let me remove this. To make the window, what I did was I measured what I needed. I measured my foam, I measured my window, the backing of the window, and then, so my window is 5 by 5 all the way around, okay? And then it's got a 1/4 inch, or I'm sorry, a 1/2 inch gusset right here, and then it's got a 1/4 inch top, okay? So we're gonna fold this in. We're gonna cut this one. If you're following my measurements, you're gonna cut 6.5 by 6.5 inch cardstock, 110 pound cardstock. And then you're gonna score at a 1/4 inch. Right here it says 1/2 inch, but it's a 1/4 inch. You're gonna score at a 1/4 inch and then 3/4 of an inch. So this should be a 1/4 inch because the top is only a 1/4 inch wide, okay? So then you're going to cut your corners out completely. We don't need the corners at all because that's gonna reduce the bulk, okay? And you're left with this. Now, before I actually, you know, assemble that, I'm going to check to make sure my 5 by 5 fits within the inside of those score lines. And it looks like I may need to trim it down just a little bit. But that is why, I mean, we have plenty of space to trim it down with. It doesn't have to be perfect, guys, because the edges are going to be hidden. You won't be able to see the edges. So I just made sure I trimmed mine down to make sure that it fits inside, you know, inside my square, inside the score lines. So it looks like I may need to trim just a little bit more. I'm going to trim just a little, just to be safe. I'm going to trim a little bit more because, like I said, it's not going to show. It truly is not going to show. Okay, so I trimmed all 4 sides and it fits within my, there you go. It fits within the score lines. Okay, so again, I'll set that aside and get rid of this trash because I can't concentrate, guys. When I have all this stuff up here, I just can't concentrate. Okay, so let me set aside what I'm not going to use. I may need these. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and fold the score lines and burnish them. Fold and burnish. This, guys, is not, I didn't want to cut another 110 pound cardstock sheet, so I went ahead and this is 65 pounds, but you want to use the 110 pound cardstock. You want to use that, guys. Okay, so this is going to be the outside of our window, okay? The front of our window, which is this right here, which is covered in glitter paper. So this card is this one right here, okay? So you know, if I glue it together, it's gonna, you know, fall apart if I just glue it like that. So we need some stability around the picture frame. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and remove all the tape from the back of my frame here. Okay, so I have removed all the tape backing. Guys, this will actually glue to your paper. If you want it a little more secure, if you feel like it's not going to glue down, what you can do is you can take a piece of some more double-sided tape and then just put some strips down on top of the wire to you know, to make sure that it is going to adhere on contact. Okay, so that's what I actually did that to mine, just to make sure that I was going to, that it was gonna, although with the next step you'll definitely know it's gonna hold down. Okay, so I'm going to, I think I moved my light a little bit here. There we go. Okay, so let's say you have it the way you want it. So you're gonna take your square and you're just gonna notch out just a tiny little notch right here, one of the corners, wherever your light is gonna come out through, okay? Because we need that little, for the wire, we need a little notch there. So you take your paper and you put it down right in the center, inside of your score lines. Sorry guys. Okay, so one thing you want to keep doing is keep checking, make sure that nothing has moved from where you placed it originally. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take some foam. I cut these at 1/2 inch wide, and they're about 1/4 inch in thickness. Okay, so so instead of me gluing it this way and taking up that real estate, what I did was I glued them this way. Okay, I'm gonna leave this one for last. I glued them this way on my paper. Okay, and that is going to make my paper nice and sturdy. Now if you're not going to put acetate, it is gonna bend in from the edge, but I put acetate on mine, so that part just didn't bother me. Now if you're not going to put acetate and you're going to use something like if you're not going to use vellum paper and you're going to use acetate, I would cut this down to where the paper just meets my foam and it doesn't, you know, it's not down at an angle. But since I used vellum, it really didn't matter, so I didn't even worry about it. But this is the way you're going to put your foam down. Okay, this is I believe 5mm foam, so the thickness is about 1/4 inch, maybe just a tad bit less, but this is close enough. So what I did was I glued the end of the foam down to the paper itself. Okay, and then I put a thin bead on the side and I lifted it up and adhered that down. Okay, oh, my glue gun, and I adhered that down. I did not glue this top until the end. Okay, so let me go ahead and glue that down. Okay, it's glued to the edge of my frame here. Okay, So I'm not going to glue that down just yet. I'm going to glue this end down as well. I'm going to measure one more time. Make sure that it fits. And it does. I'm going to go ahead and put glue on there. Okay. Making sure not to glue my wire down. Now for this one, on this side, I need to make sure that it fits from one end to the other. Okay, so I'm going to glue that down. Okay, so as you can see, these are shorter. Go to the other side. Glue this down. All right, guys, it looks like they match. They all fit well. So this is what it's looking like. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue the bottom of each one. Just put a bead of glue here at the bottom. And okay. All right, let's do the other side. Being careful not to glue my wire down. Okay, when you get to the end pieces here, you want to put some glue on the ends as well as the bottom. So I'm gonna do the bottom first. And you don't want to go so thick with your glue. I'm in a hurry because I don't want to make this video too long. So I'm not as neat as I was with my first one. There we go. Hold that down, let that adhere. Last one. Careful with the wire. There is my last one, guys. Trying to keep it straight. Okay, check my lights again. They still look good. Now at this point, I can go ahead and glue down my edges. So put a bead of glue there, glue down that edge. All right, guys, there you go. This is our window. So there is our lighted window. Now, let me show you what I mean to prop this up. I've got a piece of foam here. I'm gonna cut it in half. And I'm gonna take the 1/4 inch side, put some glue on it, and put some glue down here on the bottom of the ghost. I'm gonna take the other part, put it here on the top. Let's just say right down the top. Now let's say you wanted your ghost to land on a light. So you would, you know, put your ghost right there so that the light would shine through the ghost. Okay? So it makes your ghost a little more eerie looking. On mine, I just wanted a shadow with light surrounding it. That's why I didn't put any lights in the middle. But you can certainly adapt this to whatever it is that you are wanting to display, or whatever it is that you want to shine through. I'm going to put him down right there, just okay. And at this point you would go ahead and just cut a you know, maybe like a 5/16 of an inch border in whatever color you wanted to cut it, and then you would put your acetate. So let me get some acetate and show you what that looks like. Okay guys, so I have some acetate. Let me just put it over here. Like I said, I'm not going to complete this, and as you can see, the background kind of just disappears. So, you know, any bumpiness that you might have is not going to show. It's not, you know, overwhelmingly bad or anything. You can see it without the acetate, but like I said, with the acetate, it's just not going to show. And there are your lights. So if you were to put that ghost up against the paper, it's not going to show. Let me, there's that. Let me show you this little guy right there. Let me put him close to the light. So he kind of disappears, you know, if he's up against the paper, or, you know, the back. Now the house may show up a little bit better because it's so dark, it's black. But so you need to play around with whatever it is that you're going to want to put into your, you know, into your little house. And this is, of course, you know, it wouldn't show that clear, but just to show you that, you know, the further up close to the vellum, the easier it is to see. Now, it's also something to look at when the lights are off. You can clearly see the ghost. You can clearly see the house. So you want people to be able to see something even if the lights are not on. Okay, so that is how I built the little box for the, you know, for the window. And of course you just need to, you know, put your window front on it. And then for the, here we go, for the shutters, good thing my water was closed. For my shutters, let me show you how I did that. So easy peasy, guys, it is completed. I did forget to tell you that I put some, I think it was brushed corduroy on the shutters just to age them up a little bit. But that is it. I mean, it's got something to look at while the lights are off, and it's got something really cool to look at when the lights are on. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for hanging in there so I can show you how this is done. And I will talk to everybody later. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you very much. Y'all have a wonderful day.